Well, there is your England World Cup squad for 2023. And the rumours are true. The 33 men that were named in the Times yesterday are the 33 men that are stood in front of you right there at Twickenham having their photograph taken. So I'll quickly run through. You'll be able to see them all. Loose head props: Ellis Genge, Joe Marler, Bevan Rodd. Hookers: Jamie George, Jack Walker, Theo Dan. Tight head prop: Carl Sinclair, Will Stewart, Dan Cole. Locks: Maro Itoje, Ollie Chesham, Dave Ribbons, George Martin. Back row: Tom Curry, Jack Willis, Billy Vunipola, Courtney Laws, Lewis Ludlam, Ben Earl. In the backs, scrum halves: Ben Youngs, Jack Van Portfleet, Danny Kerr. Fly half: George Ford, Marcus Smith, Owen Farrell, captain. Centres: Ollie Lawrence, Manu Tuolangi, Joe Marchant. And the back three options: Freddie Stewart, Elliot Daly, Anthony Watson, Henry Arundel and Max Malins. So it does look like the team that played against Wales on Saturday was indeed a backup team. Of the men not involved against Wales, of the teams not involved against Wales, only 2 of them are not in that squad behind. Owen Farrell's getting a bit of stick for something, I'm not sure what. Oh, he's taking a selfie. Nice moment, nice moment. Owen Farrell is notoriously private, so the lad's giving him a bit of stick, I think. So yeah, only 2 people that were not involved against Wales are not in the squad, and that's Johnny May and Caden Murley. And another thing is, in this group of men behind, 12 of the 15 that started the last World Cup final against South Africa in 2019 are in that 33-man squad. And I think there's a very good shout to say that the vast majority, if not all of those 12 players, will be starting again, possibly against Argentina. So there's a massive amount of experience. They were, at the time, the youngest team ever to make a World Cup final. And so maybe it shouldn't surprise us, but there's a lot of experience. And I guess the question is, how much of those players from 4 years ago come on? And that's the big test for this England team then. So the rumours were true. Henry Slade, the biggest omission, biggest shock. One of those men who's been to 2 previous World Cups. He's been an ever-present since 2019. And at 30 years of age, Henry Slade, you'd think, would be in his prime. But again, is he one of those players who has stepped backwards over the last 4 years? Apparently, the omission came as a big shock to Henry Slade himself. Joe Marchant, the man who benefits, he's taken his spot, one of the few England guys to stand up and play well in defeat to Wales, and one of only 3 recognised centres in the England squad. You've got Ollie Lawrence, you've got Manu Tuolangi, you've got Joe Marchant. Now that means one of a couple of things. It could mean England are just going to play route 1 with Tuolangi and Lawrence, although Lawrence has got more skills than that. He can do more than that. But are England going to go route 1 and be a blunt instrument and brute force? Is Elliot Daly there as an option at outside centre? Maybe. Or here's the one. I've been saying it in the channel for months and months, and it gets eye rolls every time. But is Owen Farrell going to be wearing a 12 shirt for England? I think there's a massive argument to say that he is, which again, when you think there's 12 of the World Cup starters in that squad behind me, and Owen Farrell may well be wearing 12 for England at a World Cup, it's not so different from Eddie Jones, is it? People wanted Eddie Jones gone, they wanted a change, and have they just got Eddie Jones's England all over again in a different guise? And if they have, is that a bad thing? That is where I think some of the comments will get stuck in. A lot of people were uninspired by England at the weekend against Wales, but I think very few of those guys that were on the field against Wales will be starting against Argentina. It will be very different. I guess the other factor is with Henry Slade is, Henry Slade, you imagine, probably would have had offers to go and play in France, and he decided to stay, presumably to go to a World Cup with England. I wonder if he's regretting that now. Wishes he was out there with Jack Noel and Luke Cowan-Dickie, his ex-teammates. And equally, Joe Marchant is going to be playing at Stade Francais this coming season and will be ineligible for England after the World Cup. And that's because he wasn't being involved. Also at number 8, no Alex Dombrandt. And Billy Vunipola is in. Alex Dombrandt was used all the way through the Six Nations by Steve Borthwick, and Billy Vunipola was left out. That's very Eddie Jones in its approach, isn't it? But there's been a total reversal as we've got close to a World Cup. And what does that mean? I think England aren't going to be as far off as people think they are right now to success at a World Cup. I also understand why people are scratching their head and going, what's happening with England? I suppose a couple of the other notable ones, Theo Dan, he's played just 26 minutes of international rugby and he is in. If something happens to Jamie George in one of these warm-up games, what do England do at hooker? Jack Walker has been injured and he's just coming back and is in the squad. Theo Dan has played 26 minutes of international rugby. That is one area I am quite concerned about, I will say. But it's the hope that kills you. And how can you not be optimistic when you stood looking at a team who haven't played a game yet, have got everything in front of them and are on the right side of the draw, can go out and, I was going to say win a World Cup. I don't know if I believe that. They can definitely get to a semi-final and then who knows. But there we go. England World Cup Squad 2023. If you haven't already, hit subscribe on the channel, leave your comments.